Hey, how's it going there, YouTube? Leonard here, back again on another deck profile for you all. So recently, I haven't been playing too much Bermuda, so I've been trying to get used to other clans out there. So I've been playing around with Dark Irregulars. Nova Grapplers are fun with the new Beast Deity Stride, and of course there was Angel Feather with the Nociel support, which was very surprising to me because when the set first dropped and I had to take a look at what the Angel Feather cards were, they were in fact Nociel support, and I was always curious as to how in the world would you ever play around with Nociel support. Is it skills that rely on putting into the damage? Certainly not when they attack. Well, it is, and here we go with one of these strides. It's a very nice stride, wonderful art, and yes, you are going to be using your Nociels offensively, not just defensively, or just in the middle of your turn, bumping up your other units. So, yeah, it's pretty much a lot of fun. This deck's a lot of fun. It definitely adds a lot of more extra combo plays to the deck because you're going to be utilizing your damage zone more than ever. And there's a lot of personal techs in this deck that really make this deck great offensively as well as defensively. So without further ado, let's get into the deck profile. Let's put these strides aside. Oh, and when I got these sleeves, the tentacles are already there, so can't blame me. Alright, so for the first grade 3, we have 4. Gavriel, of course. Her skill is GB2. When a card is put into your damage zone, all the units in your front row get plus 2k. And her on-stride skill is Counterblast 1. When your G unit strides on this card, look at the top 3 cards of your deck, put one card, choose one among them, put it to your damage zone face up, then put the other 2, get a face up card from your damage zone, call it to rearguard circle, that unit gets plus 2000 power, and then you put the other 2 cards at the bottom of your deck in any order. When I first saw this card, I wasn't very pleased with the stacking ability, because if you got 3 triggers, or especially if you got that heal trigger that can go back to the deck, I mean, that's fine, but I mean, you're just making yourself off the heal for that turn. But I was always a little skeptical about the stacking ability, because what if you just got many triggers? That wouldn't really help. I mean, there's not many means of shuffling this deck in any way. So when you start to stack, it's gonna start happening for a bit. Only way you'd be able to shuffle is if you use your stand, utilize another stride, and so on. Other than that, it's always your great offensive / defensive card. Its GB2 skills, obviously for the defense, it's absolutely amazing. Its on-stride skill just pumps up your entire board by putting 1 free card into the damage zone for a counterblast. And yeah, now let's move on to the other grade 3, the amazing Nociel support. Let me just bring this up to the camera. That is your wonderful Nociel, grade 3. Her skill is, I'm just going to start with the secondary skill first because it's an on-ride skill. When she's ridden onto the Vanguard circle, you may do a Nociel skill. So put a card from your hand to the damage zone, vice versa. So that's pretty cool. It's on call, or on ride pretty much. It's only on Vanguard circle. If this was on Vanguard and Rearguard circle, that'd be absolutely broken. This deck would be totally busted. And then her primary skill is on the Vanguard circle, Counterblast 1. When a card with Nociel in the name is put into your damage zone, if it's still face up in your damage zone, counterblast any card and then put the Nociel back to your hand. It has to be face up, so you can't counterblast the Nociel. And then you put the top card of your deck into the damage zone. This card absolutely helps with when it comes down to thinning out the deck, increasing the amount of cards in your damage zone, although it will always be the same number because you're taking and giving and taking. And it combos so well with another card that I play in this deck. And if you just so happen to top deck it, then your game will be going absolutely amazing, very fast. So that's pretty much it for the grade 3s. A really nice thing about this grade 3 is that it is not a 10k, it's a 11k. So unlike the other Nociels back in the day when 9k grade 2s were totally not a thing, there were only 8. But they had really good skills, and now there's 9 with really good skills. She's not a 10k, she's 11k, so of course you need to stick it up with the meta, keep it flowing. So now let's move on to the grade 2s. Now grade 2s are where the personal plays come in. Grade 1s are pretty standard, so I just want to warn you guys here. If you guys obviously play Angel Feathers a different way, I can always tell you guys the other techs you guys can play. So let's get started. Set the deck more side here. Alright, for the first grade 2, now many people love to play 4 of this, but I only play 3 because I need to make room for other grade 2s in this deck. Of the Nurse of Broken Heart, this is your Generation Break Pegasus clone, Million Ray. Basically, she has the same skill, except she not only gains, gives herself power, she gives your Vanguard power. So it's another great offensive / defensive card. Giving your Vanguard power means that you really don't have to boost the Vanguard, but you always can, especially with the heal trigger. And then her skill, of course, she gains power. And then on your turn, your Vanguard Gavriel, if it's GB2, she gains power. Then you increase her, and then you increase her, and vice versa. It just goes on in a chain. Absolutely amazing. If you do other skills during your opponent's turn, which is very possible with your Nociels, you can always put at least 2-3 cards in the damage zone during their turn, and they haven't even attacked you yet. Or maybe they already did 1 damage, or maybe it's because you guarded with a Nociel, the grade 1, and you can just put more cards to the damage zone, top deck into the damage zone. You'll get what I mean when I get to another grade 2. So, absolutely amazing card. You can play this at 4, and I'll tell you what to take out for that, because as I said, there are personal techs in the grade 2 lineup. So, yeah, I just play 3. But 3 is perfectly fine, especially since it's searchable. You put it to the damage zone, or it just goes to the damage zone, and you can always use other cards in the deck to fish it out and immediately call it or put it to your hand. So it's never a big deal. Next, of course, you play the 3 amazing grade 2 Nociel. Love Machine Gun Nociel. Love that name. Always loved it. Skill, on Vanguard Circle, choose a Angel Feather from your hand, put a damage zone to your hand. It can even be the same card you put back. So you just swap. Absolutely mandatory to play in this deck since you are playing the Nociel. You are no longer playing like Calamity, Phoenix, or that Metatron Cross Ride knockoff. You're not playing that. You're playing something that's much better. She's absolutely mandatory because you play her. You need to play all the Nociels, of course. Even the stand trigger, and I'll get to that because the stand trigger is actually really busted in this deck. You just use your skill, of course, for the simple drop and draw, and that helps in every Angel Feather build, and especially with this Nociel build, it allows you to draw more and put more to the damage zone, thus increasing your board. And if you use this with the Stride, which I'll get to when I get to the Stride zone, you'll understand why the effect is so great. That this thing will be able to hit crossrides. Well, maybe not crossrides. Darn, it's an 8K. Okay, this is the personal tech. I play 2 Medical Bomber Nurse. This is the promo. Now, many people may not have it, and it is a little difficult to find if you cannot buy it online or if it's too expensive. Medical Bomber Nurse is basically that grade 2 Celestial that you special counterblast 1 Celestial. When another card's pinned to your damage zone, you choose her and you call it out to Vanguard Circle. Then you put the top card or a hand. Then you put the top card of your deck to the damage zone. This is the exact same card except it's GB and it's not a special because, as you know, GB is there's no subclan. There's subclan support, but this is not it. Seeing how this is a subclan, but it's not GB. Yeah. Well, neither of the others, so I guess that's what. But I'm getting off topic. This is the card that unleashes so many combo plays, and this actually works so well during your opponent's turn when you guard with the grade 1 Nociel, and I will get to that when I get to the grade 1 Nociel. But just keep this card in the back of your head because it's absolutely amazing. This card basically allows you to get a faster board once you hit GB, and if you don't want to get that faster board, at least it sticks to card in the damage zone. So when you call it, you put the top card of your deck to the damage zone. So it's just another means of putting cards to the damage zone to pump up your board. And this works so well on your opponent's turn as well. Because let's say you lost an Interceptor, or you couldn't guard your Nurse of Broken Heart, which you always should in this deck. You can use the grade 1 Nociel, get this Bomber Nurse out of your damage zone, call it out to the field, or something. Like, as long as you put a card into the damage zone, as long as she's there prior, call her back out. You get another Interceptor on the front row. Top card. Another card into a damage zone. If you still have a Nurse of Broken Heart, this and your Vanguard get power. And it keeps on stacking. It's so amazing with the plays that you can do in this deck. And finally, you play 3 Kirito, of course. I find this more of a staple in the deck. It never, ever runs dry. Always helps. Basically, it steals GB1, Counterblast 1. When it's being boosted, it's that type of grade 2. You look at the top 2 cards of your deck, choose one, put it to the damage zone, and put the other one straight to the bottom. And, of course, you call out a a face-up card from your damage zone to rearguard circle. So it also helps when it comes down to building a field presence if you're running low on field presence. And if you have a bomber nurse on the field, you call a heal trigger or a grade 1 using her or his skill. It's Kirito. It's a trap. And then you call out your bomber nurse on your turn, so you already gain a huge field. Or you can use that to get your Nurse of Broken Heart if it's out there. A nice Nociel if you put it out. So yeah, of course. And that's pretty much it for the grade 2 lineup. It's very, very simple. Well, I try to keep it that way. My buddy Kevin, as you guys all may know, I mention him a lot in my videos because I'm so thankful for all the stuff that he's done for me in this game. He's actually the one who gave me this deck, and I don't play Angel Feather too much. I mean, back when I was a Metatron player, that was huge, but with Celestials and all these other things, man, it's really, really heating up in the competition. So, playing GB, especially with the Nociel support, is still a little new to me, and I'm learning new combos every single day. So, yeah. Let's move on to the grade 1s. You play 4 of the 1000 Ray Pegasus, of course, absolute staple. It's a little pricey out in the market right now because it's so great and it combos so well, and it's a grade 1, doesn't take up too much space in the grade 1 lineup throughout your deck. Basically, it skills during either player's turn when a card is put into your damage zone. It stacks up 2k. So if it's a great first ride, although you don't want it to because you always want to have your 1000 rays on board. But if it's a first ride, it's absolutely fine. It's still great defense in the early game as well as offense because you can still utilize its skill on the very, very first turn that you declare the attack. Because of your starter, stand trigger, Nociel, all that stuff. So, yeah, must play 4, not much to be said. Play 3 Stride Enabler. You're going to search out a lot in this deck, so especially with your grade 3s. So when it comes down to your 3s and your damage zone, you will always have a way to get your stride fodder off, and playing 3 is perfectly fine. That one extra of actually took place for a medical bomber nurse, so an extra medical bomber nurse, which really, really helps in this deck. 2 is maximum consistency. So 3 Stride Enabler, absolutely fine. Next up, 4 Perfect Guards, but you don't play the G Perfect Guards. I'm about to run out of space over here, so I'm just going to play it halfway, so you at least see the art and can notify the, you can notice the card. I do play a Pure Keeper Requiel, best name ever, because this deck does not counterblast often, and it does counterblast a lot, but you use them in such low quantity, and with the support in the deck with the Nociels and other cards in your stride zone, you don't have to target a face down. You can target face down cards for your targets when it comes down to taking cards out of the damage zone. So if you ever counterblasted a card, be smart with what you counterblast. You can just grab that card out when it comes down to cost or payment for any of these skills that you're using. So it's never really mandatory to play the GB Perfect Guard, especially with Overlord coming and all these other restanders and crap. It's so annoying. You want to be able to protect your Nurse of Broken Heart. That's probably the primary reason as to why you play these Perfect Guards, because sure, you can let them hit the Vanguard, or you may not, because your Vanguard's going to be pumping up so much power. If you can combo your plays right, that you really do not have to just guard your Vanguard. Nurse of Broken Heart is almost like your second Vanguard, despite it being on rearguard circle all the time. So you're going to be using your Perfect Guards to to keep your Nurse of Broken Heart, which your GB Perfect Guards cannot do. They can only guard the Vanguard. So this, amazing. You want to play GB Perfect Guards, it's absolutely fine, but it's just not another way to protect your Broken Heart. Sure, it unflips a point of damage, and that's free, and that's amazing, but it won't save your Nurse. And if you play decks where it's Kagura, or any deck that chooses to attack the rearguard with their Vanguard because it's such a threat, which it is, you must protect it because you only play 3. If it hits the drop zone, you'll never get it back. If they ever put it to the damage zone, which is impossible unless they play Ramiel reverse, then it just won't be. So yeah, 4 Requiel, absolutely mandatory. And of course, to end up the grade 1 lineup, we play 3 of the absolutely expensive / beautifully cute Lolly Battle Cupid Nociel. This is a must at 3. I mean, 2 minimum, and it's still fine. But 3 I found to be an absolutely perfect number. I mean, so many plays come off this number. This is where the combo comes in. If you have at least 2-3 cards in the damage zone by the time you want to unleash your fury with Angel Feathers during your opponent's turn. If you have your what's the name of this chick again? If you have your promo angel, I'll just say that medical bomber nurse. If you have your MBN in your damage zone face up with maybe one other card counterblasted, but at least turn another card unit face up. You use this to guard, whether it's your rear guard or your vanguard. Maybe drop a little bit more since it's just a 5k shield. Or maybe they're just attacking with a single unit. But either way, as long as you use her to guard and you ditch a card to the damage zone, you fetch one. Even if it's the same card. Medical Bomber Nurse skill is active, so you may pay a cost, counterblast 1, put her to your field, top card to the damage zone. So not only do you put a card to your damage zone with your amazing Nociel, which is your primary way of adding more defense on your opponent's turn, Bomber Nurse also sends the top card of your deck to the damage zone. Whether it's a trigger or not, it doesn't matter. There's so many ways you can put your triggers back from the damage zone to your deck. Excuse me. Even on the field, this card utilizes the damage zone like no way I've ever seen before. So this card and your Bomber Nurse is absolutely amazing, and you can pull off way too many plays. Use this with your Nociel Stride, and of course you make a really nice meaty column after it declares the attack. But I'll get to that once I get to the strides. Just to finish off the main deck, I'm going to show you guys the trigger lineup. It's 4 of the best critical hit angel, has the name in it, so you know you need to play it. It's the Margal clone critical. Well, I guess it won't be a Margal clone, but you know it does have that skill. That's what I meant. 3 of the best critical trigger without a skill. Nurse of Danger Hearts, Brave Hearts. I don't know why it reminds me of that. 2 Doctoroid, Refroze. 3 of the Nociel stand, absolutely amazing stand. This allows you to pull off your damage zone plays very early on in the game, since a lot of the stuff in here is, well, a lot of your great stuff is GB restricted, but unlike your Nociel. So if you have this as your Vanguard, then you can pull off some plays. If it's the early game, you want to stack up some simple power. If you have a handful of Pegasus, go straight on ahead. And of course, you play your 4 Sunny Smile Angel heal trigger. It's absolutely mandatory because you can put your heal triggers into the deck all the time. If you ever draw this, put it back to the deck because it boosted. Very simple. And the amazing starter that makes almost every single play in this deck possible is your Hope Child Turiel. I'm very happy to see many people playing this card. A lot of people like to play the GB starter, and I find that starter to just be absolutely crappy. Sure, it helps, but it's not very mandatory. If you want something a little more consistent, you always want to go with Turiel. It's technically a Nociel. That's pretty much it. It's a Nociel starter. I'm surprised this is not the another grade 2, another grade 0 Nociel. Why is this a stand trigger? It still helps, but why couldn't this be the starter? Well, I guess it's only because you'd only have one unless you play more starters. But her skill is, if you have an Angel Feather Vanguard, this unit gets its own skill. Counterblast 1, put a card from your hand into the damage zone, and then choose a card from your damage zone and put it to your hand. So it can even be a card that you counterblasted. So you have a target, counterblast it. Put that counterblasted card in mind. Card in the hand, damage zone, that counterblasted card to your hand. Absolutely amazing. If you're ever grade locked and you happen to hit that grade there, if you have to wait a next turn, at least stall your opponent for one grade 1, grade 2 game. Of course, you can use your Turiel skill to not hope to top deck, but just get it straight from the damage zone. If there's ever a time in Angel Feather where they get support where you can choose cards from the deck and put them into your damage zone, not from top decking, but you literally sift through the deck to filter out what you want, I think Angel Feathers would be a lot more broken and a lot more fun to play, because there's so many ways you can get out of grade lock, especially with Celestials. When I played Romulo Reverse and there's the break ride, I never ever missed the break ride because you had the candle, the candle Celestial, and if I ever missed any of the grade 3s, I'd put it off aside to the damage zone, and then I'd use that one grade 1 Celestial, the nurse with the really big thighs or whatever, and use her skill to get that grade 3 back. Or I even played the grade 3 searcher. I never ever played the Celestial starter, because I always ran my chances of decking out by putting the top card. And I never, back when that was far from Legion, I did not want to take my chances putting perfect guards or triggers into the damage zone. So yeah, that's pretty much it for the deck profile. On this part, the main deck, what am I talking about? We still have the amazing Stride Zone to discuss. So yeah, if there's any personal things you guys want to play instead of other cards. Well, I know that Nurse of Broken Heart is going to be something you guys are looking at this entire time in the video. If you want to put this back at 4, you can always take out your Medical Bomber Nurse if you don't want to play the promo. And I know many people probably won't have the promo, so it's absolutely fine. If you do not have this promo, it's perfectly fine to play another Broken Heart and another Stride Enabler. You want to keep your Nociel and your Haruts or Kirito at 3. They're not very mandatory, and I mean, they're fairly weak on their own. This is 1k lower than almost any other grade sheet ever see, and this has to be boosted, so you won't be using it often. Plus, once it's on board, you're going to keep it on board, because you're only going to use Kirito like twice, 3 times a game. There's not too many windows of opportunity, because you play all these other amazing grade 2s. So, yeah, now let's move on to these strides. The stride lineup is definitely something I tinkered with for a while now. When I first got this deck, I was taught that Raziel and the Nociel Stride are your main keys, other than Raphael, the free heal. So just be aware of what I'm showing you guys. It's just something that I thought was more consistent. And if there's anything you guys would like to play other than, just leave a comment down below. If there's a way you guys want to change up the strides, do it as you must. And let's get into it. I play 1 Blizza. I find Blizza to be absolutely amazing in this deck. And if you guys have not caught on to it yet, it's simply because you know that you will or you will not hit your Nociel off as your primary stride or ride, and you want to. I mean, it's fantastic, but if you ever get Gavriel, which is more than likely, because there are times where I get a handful of so many grade 3s and I get my Stride Enabler, I might as well just ditch them all. Because I know that the Nociel Stride will not help so far, especially since the Nociel Stride requires you to have a Nociel Heart and a Nociel Rear Guards, or in your damage zone. So it's not a very consistent stride, but it is very powerful if you can ever pull it off, which is great early or late game. But enough of that card. Wow, I'm really just pushing off the Nociel Stride in this video. But Blizza helps so much because she helps you push to your GB2 in an instant. Most of the time you'd be at GB1 with your on-hit skill or your Nociel if you're sitting on Nociel. But if you're on Gavriel, just use that Blizza. Once you're done on your first stride, you'd be at GB2 and you can go defensive the entire time. You do not have to wait. So many decks love to rush. You cannot rush this deck if you go Blizza first, because then you'd be able to get all these amazing GB2 skills all across the board. It's absolutely amazing, and it's absolutely hilarious. And with all the support, or old support rather, allowing you to get cards that are counterblasted to your hand, you don't just have to choose face up. It still opens up so many possibilities. So that's why I play Blizza. Plus that extra 5k to a Blizza is not that bad. You're gonna stride at least 4 times throughout an entire game, 4 or 5 times, 6 times at the most. So you're always gonna have your ways of striding. So don't ever fear that you're gonna be out of strides. Next, of course, I play 1 Uriel. This is if you do not go off with a Blizza, or if you do not have the requirements for your Nociel Stride, you just simply do not have enough, and you really, really wish you did, but you don't. An absolutely amazing backup is your Uriel. She's technically a generic on-hit skill. When it hits the Vanguard, you look at the top 3 cards of your deck. She's one to put to your damage zone, and then you shuffle the other 2 in. So she's one of your ways of shuffling the deck. The new called unit gets plus 2,000 power, so it's just a very, very good generic stride. If you're on Nociel and you don't have your requirements, always resort to Uriel, because you don't want to just waste a Nociel Stride. Nociel Strides are so powerful if you can use them correctly, so you just don't want to waste that. Next, you play 1 Raziel. He's the finisher of the deck. You always go into him about late game. There's always the times where my deck is almost nothing but perfect guards. If I have not gone through them already, perfect guards and nothing but triggers. If there's any other trigger or any other non-trigger, it'd always be a Nociel or a Nurse of Broken Heart, or possibly a grade 3, because, you know, that's always possible. But he helps so much when it comes down to sifting through the deck, and when you use that with your Refros, and you have a board of Pegasi and Broken Heart and maybe a Nociel or 2, this deck combos so well. I'm so glad that Angel Feather got support like this, and the fact that it's a rare, super easy to pull off. Next, I play 1 Nociel Stride, so half of the Stride lineup is only 1 UBs, and that's only because I want maximum consistency in this deck. This is excellent for defense. Not great offensively when you use it as a stride and declare an attack. It's plus 5k, so it's decent, but it's really, really great to pull off your defensive skills in the early game against all these rush decks coming up. This is just a great generic stride, which everybody would always need. There's always a time when you think, wow, I wish I had a generic stride, because I'm not going to get too many skills off, just a simple on hit. That is your key target. This is always played in Angel Feather. If you don't play this, I'm going to question you heavily. I mean, sure, you don't have to play it, but it helps so much, so why wouldn't you? Always play a 1 of. You could play 2 of, maximum, but I only ever need 1 of. And then 1 Nociel stride simply because, like I said over and over again, requirement issues. You don't have your Nociels, and you have to call these units that are used to guard or put to the soul and get damage out. You have to use them for attack. I'm a little disappointed that the Nociel support was stuck up like that, that there weren't other Nociel cards other than a grade 3, but I guess you got to work with what you have. So this stride is absolutely amazing. Yeah, now I did have this extra one that was on sleep that I showed earlier in the video. I did normally play 2, but that's because I took out Blizza, because I didn't realize how just amazing Blizza was. So many people were giving me tips that, hey Brandon, if you're doing so bad in the early game, you're getting ransacked by rushing decks, take out one of your other strides that you don't play too often, just do Blizza. And because 2 Nociel never really help, and you never ever just want to go Nociel and a Gavriel or Nociel and a Nociel, but you can't get the skill off, it's just useless. So get out of here, Nociel. Just do Blizza. And if you do not want to play this generic stride, I know many people won't, you can play 2 Nociel for consistency if you ever get the requirements, but if you don't need to, unflip 1 with Blizza, because it's a cost for Blizza, and it helps so much. So I'm just going to keep this right above this. You guys can partially see the card. Just so you guys know, I'm going to put it right above the generic stride, so you guys know what to take out for this. And finally, of course, you play your 4 Raphael, the free heal, not much to say about it. And that's pretty much it for the stride lineup. I mean, Raphael is really, really easy to explain. It's just a free heal by paying its cost to Persona Flip, and it's GB2, keep that in mind. But, of course, she's going to be GB2 because you're going to have your Blizza on board. You already used your Blizza for Gavriel, so you're already going to be there. So, yeah, guys, that's pretty much it for my Angel Feather deck. Shout out to my buddy Kevin. Thank you so much for this deck. Again, it's a ton of fun to play. Absolutely amazing. So many combo plays. It makes me smile all the time. Shout out to Chris for all the tips and stuff you gave me. Thank you so much, bro. Fist to you. High five to you. And, yeah, that's pretty much it for the deck profile. Hope you all enjoy. And have a nice day. This is Leonhard out. Peace.